So to give us an idea of where demand was, where it went to, and where it's likely to go.
Well, demand was very, very low for the first 3 quarters. The fourth quarter data will come out in the next few days. But clearly, we saw demand drop to one of its lowest ever in our data series. Clearly, that was due to the lockdown. And we also saw that the high prices put off the customers because they were looking for an entry point, and that was not provided in 2020. However, quarter 4 was a slightly different scenario. People started coming out of their homes. And so what we hear is that the quarter 4 was much better than quarter 3. However, the whole year 2020 will go down as one of the lowest.
So tell me, gold demand in India has been gradually declining, imperceptibly at times even, but it has been on a downward trajectory. Is gold losing its allure there in India?
You are absolutely right. Gold has been losing ground in the last couple of years, particularly since demonetization. But the allure of gold has not gone away. What is happening is a transition to a more transparent system of buying gold, and that does take its time. India's per capita consumption of gold is still very low. And we had done an econometric analysis years ago that showed clearly as prosperity increases, people buy more gold. So if you keep that in mind, you will see gold demand coming back. But what's happening today is that there are various initiatives taken by the government on transparency measures, which have affected the buying behaviors. So we saw demand drop. Actually, in fact, 2019 was also one of our lowest years. It was 696 tons. We had seen normally about 850 tons of demand. And all this happened because, as I said, the government started insisting on the, PAN card. Then there is, the GST has come in. So lots of measures have been taken, which affected the buying behavior. But they're coming back. Gold hasn't lost the allure. The trade is adjusting to the new norm.
So tell me, with the rise of cryptocurrencies, chiefly Bitcoin, has that eaten into demand for the precious metal?
Well, as far as India is concerned, Bitcoin is not a big issue. It does not affect gold demand. And you have to also see, gold is very culturally very relevant for us for many occasions, right, from birth to death. So I doubt if Bitcoin, as far as we are concerned, will be a big threat to gold in India. It's more a speculative investment, whereas we have, gold as a physical asset and a commodity that women have used for years. You also get loans against gold, and many things are attached to gold, which cannot be simply taken away. So gold is a long-term strategic investment for families.
You talk about the allure staying and that demand will come back. What will drive the demand? How soon will that demand return? What does it mean for gold prices?
Well, let me put it this way. I'll give you a data point. 2009, soon after the crisis, we saw demand drop to one of its lowest, 641 tons. Because people were fearful and there were lots of jobs. Many things happened, and gold demand saw one of its lowest years, 641 tons, against 800 tons the previous year. But then the next 3 years, you saw how the demand came back with 850, 910, and then it touched 1,000 tons as well. So this is what happens to gold demand in India, because structurally there is nothing which has changed. Families still want gold. Weddings are, weddings are defined by how much gold you have. None of those have changed. And the other important thing is gold is still not viewed as an asset you can get through the banking system. So that makes it far more alluring for the people. If it's not just a currency, it's more about a off-bank asset. So all these factors, none of them have changed. We still have controls about banks not dealing in gold, which makes it a lot more attractive to people who don't use the banking system. So in terms of policy, in terms of culture, nothing has changed. Yeah, prices have gone up. People have stopped buying the quantities they used to buy because there is a question of affordability. On top of it, there are these transparency measures, GST, the tax number, all that being insisted above a certain limit. All those have definitely affected gold demand.
So, Sam, tell me, jewelry, of course, is the mainstay of gold demand in essence, but jewelry for the younger person there in India is not quite as attractive as it used to be here. How does the industry tackle that with the millennials looking at gold in a completely different light, or jewelry, I should say, in a completely different light?
Yes. What's happening today is that the market is now moving more towards the organized players. There are big players in the market now who have actually understood this trend, and they are coming out with their own ways of innovation, different ways of marketing, lightweight jewelry. So these initiatives have just started. Obviously, weddings still drive gold demand. 60% of jewelry demand comes from wedding, but the big players have now caught on to this trend that if millennials have to be attracted, it has got to be different occasions, and it has got to be a different way of approaching them. You will see the impact of this in the next few years, but you are absolutely right. Millennials have an aversion to this heavy jewelry, and we could say that, yeah, if the industry doesn't react, we will lose them.
So, what's the risk for the gold market in India? I mean, there's still uncertainty about the virus and the vaccine.
Yeah, so what's the question? Sorry.
What's the risk to the demand for gold in India?
Oh, yes. As I said, 2020 has been a washout, practically. But weddings have got rescheduled. Quite a lot of social functions did not happen, but they have not disappeared. They are going to come back. And as we see people coming out, and as the vaccines are rolled out, in fact, as we speak, the vaccines have started getting rolled out. So you will see that this demand comes back. Clearly, the social functions, weddings, etc., when they take place. So 2021, you will see, in our view, you will see a big spurt in demand, but it's got a few factors which one can't estimate now.